1912 was one of the most tragic events of the early 20th century, resulting in the deaths of 1,498 people. However, few people are aware of the sinking of SS Santana, which occurred 47 years earlier and was responsible for a similar number of deaths as the Titanic. The story of the Titanic tragedy is widely known, as the ship was considered unsinkable. Unfortunately, on its maiden voyage, the Titanic collided with an iceberg, piercing its hull and sealing its fate on that fateful night. Approximately 1,500 people lost their lives. The Titanic, of course, was never forgotten throughout the 20th century. But it regained public attention when filmmaker James Cameron released his award-winning feature film recounting the ship's saga and the experiences of its crew and passengers. Therefore, it is considered the world's most famous shipwreck. Now, let's examine the story of the SS Sultana, a sidewheel steamboat that transported goods and people between St. Louis, Missouri, and New Orleans, Louisiana. This ship went down in history as the protagonist of the worst maritime disaster in terms of loss of human lives in the United States. Built in 1863, its main component was wood, as the use of metal was not yet common at that time due to high costs. The first ship constructed using steel and iron was the SS Great Britain in 1843. Shortly after the end of the Civil War, the United States government hired the SS Sultana to transport Union soldiers who had been released from Confederate prisoner-of-war camps back to their homes in the northern part of the country. On the night of April 24 of the same year, the SS Sultana departed from Vicksburg, Mississippi, with over 2,300 people on board. Initially, a ship was deemed safe to carry around 376 passengers, but the Sultana was overcrowded due to bribes paid by Army officers to board the ship. Before departing from Vicksburg, the ship had undergone a minor repair on one of its boilers, and a quick and irresponsible fix was made at the port of the city. All of this was done in the name of greed, as Captain Jason didn't want to leave anything for competitors, so he overloaded the ship. In the early evening of April 27, as it approached Memphis on the Mississippi River, one of the ship's boilers exploded. The explosion was devastating, destroying a significant part of the hull and instantly killing 400 people. The wooden ship turned into a blazing torch within minutes. Many survivors jumped into the water in an attempt to escape the fire but ended up drowning. Many were captured by enormous crocodiles. It is estimated that between 1,400 and 2,000 people perished in the Sultana disaster, although the exact number of victims was never confirmed. The tragedy received little attention at the time, due to the recent death of President Abraham Lincoln, the assassination of John Wilkes Booth, and the end of the war. The SS Sultana suffered due to the greed of some individuals, as it had been initially designated for the transportation of goods, especially cotton. While the sinking of RMS Titanic is widely known as one of the most tragic events in maritime history, it is important to remember the SS Santana disaster that occurred 47 years earlier in the United States. The SS Santana fell victim to overcrowding and poor safety conditions, resulting in a significant loss of human lives. Both shipwrecks emphasized the importance of adequate safety measures and awareness of a ship's capacity, while the Titanic became immortalized in popular culture. The Santana disaster remained largely unknown due to other historical events that captured the attention of the time. The stories of these shipwrecks remind us of the fragility of human life in the face of natural forces, and the ongoing need for improvements in maritime safety and regulations. It is an important reminder that we must learn from the mistakes of the past to avoid similar tragedies in the future.